about. Okay, we are starting at the beginning. Sorry, close your eyes. Oh my God, I just made you all dizzy. All right, come on inside of Iliff. And at Iliff School of Theology, our tag is that we advocate freedom. And we want you to know that we know you've already done theological education already, whether on the master's level. But just to remind you, this is not the place where you have to change yourself to fit into some construct. As you are welcome here at Iliff. And we want you to bring your full self, all your gifts and graces to the table. At this time, we would like to ask Allie if she would lead us in a centering moment.
All right, everybody, let's come and let's take a moment to come present in this moment. We all live busy lives. Let's just take 3 deep breaths, and then I'm going to end with a quote about being prophetic, since this is a prophetic leadership program. Our quote today comes from Cornell West. For me, the prophetic has to do with mustering the courage to love, to empathize, to exercise compassion, and be committed to justice. And here at Iliff, we do all of those things very well. And send it back to you.
Thank you. We've started an invitational campaign that says Imagine Iliff. Sometimes people don't know the name of a seminary or divinity school or school of theology. They may not know what that really is, but they know that they're interested in justice or embodied spirituality, their religion, trauma, and healing, and eco justice and the like. And so we're saying, imagine the things that you're interested in, and then imagine doing the work here at Iliff. Just to give you a picture that these are our students who are advocates of freedom. And some of these students are master's degree students as well as doctoral students. But you can see they're coming from all different walks of life, all different types of ministry contexts, and doing great work that's impactful and providing spaces for freedom for our cities, states, faith communities, and our world. Just a little bit about Iliff. We're 133 years old. We're affiliated with the United Methodist Church. Over 30 denominations are present in our student body. We do have some students of different faiths. 44 states are represented, and we are a community of multi-belonging. We value that and we work hard towards that. Not always perfect, but that we value everyone. And so this community of multi-belonging has space for you as well. Over 30% of our students are of the LGBTQIA plus community. And last but not least, just a reminder to everybody, it is graduate school. And as such, as this graduate school, it has great academic rigor and profound spiritual formation. Just to share with you some of the purpose, vision, and commitment. Um, we nurture passion, cultivate compassion, and encourage social and ecological justice. I share with you the various ways our students show up and the way they live out their call, and that we're committed to interculturality, decolonialism, social justice, inclusiveness, and religious diversity. Um, these are core values, and you can read that, but we value academic engagement. And the key spaces here is authenticity, empowerment, engagement, honor, and integrity. We value intersectional accountability that highlights action, dignity, diversity, empowerment, integrity, and respect. Relational respect, which highlights openness, dignity, reconciliation, respect, and transparency. Dynamic spirituality, which highlights dignity, respect, and spirituality. And you see some of those things overlap, right? And so those are the things we really value and work hard in our curriculum, in the professor's syllabi, in our community values, and when we gather together, those are the things that we value greatly. I want to introduce you to our program coordinator for the Doctor of Ministry program, Reverend Lisa Withrow, PhD. I wanted to do this because sometimes it's important to know the myriad of experiences that someone comes to the table to provide leadership. And so you can read her credentials, some of her credentials there, but you have someone who is an academic, who has lived the life of the academy and worked with students who are journeying through theological education, one who teaches in leadership studies. She's an author, a co-owner, so she's a business owner, a certified leadership coach, a professional mediator and trainer, a consultant in conflict management, leadership development. And this is how you can get in touch with her. But she loves the Demon students and is the wonderful, not just program coordinator, but is also the advisor for the Demon program. And so she's the one who journeys most intimately and accompany you along the way. So I'm going to turn it over to her so she can share with you the program portion of the Demon program.
Thank you, Dean Bogues. And welcome, Stephanie. And is it David or David? I have a feeling it might be
Definitely David.
David. Thank you. Wanted to make sure I got that right out of the gate. A lot of people ask the question, what kind of doctoral degree is best for me? And there's a difference between a DMin and a PhD. A PhD is obviously a doctor of philosophy, and there's a lot of theoretical work. It's usually years of courses and research. It takes probably more time, unless people move very quickly, than a DMin. And the PhD often is geared toward being in the academy or being in some kind of research area. The DMin, on the other hand, is very particular to theological education, and it's a more practical degree. It still is a degree that says you have reached a terminal degree, which means you are an expert in the field. And your expertise contributes to a body of knowledge, just like in the PhD, but it's accompanied by experience. So it's a practical degree with a research expertise. So what I like about the DMin is that it puts together the experience and the research so that you're not just living in your head, you're living in community, you're living in your body, you're living in connection with other people. So there's a difference. And if you want to ask questions about that in a few minutes, feel free. I'm happy to expound a little bit more. Next slide.
Sorry, Lisa. Dean Bogues just messaged me that she needed to step away for a second,
Okay.
but I am unable to get in the share mode because it's still for her. But I can let you know what the next slide is, which is what can I do with a DMin degree?
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
What you can do with a DMin degree is if you serve in a faith community, you can continue to serve in the faith community with this expertise. I know I have some students actually in another school where I teach in Chicago that are taking their DMin degrees, their research, and they're applying it not only to their church work, but they're applying it to conference level work. And they've been asked to do seminars and maybe some coaching in other spaces because they are considered an expert in their particular field. The other places where DMins make a difference is sometimes in seminaries, there are particular courses that are very practical, like field education, some of these kinds of things, and maybe some administrative pieces that the DMin helps with. And finally, in any community and nonprofit organization, some people are in political organizations. The DMin gives you the insight and the expertise to do work there, and the respect that you're a researcher and also a person of experience who can understand that data matters when you're doing the deep dive work that you were called to do. All right, I think we got control of this space. All right. The courses take 3 to 3.5 years, depending on how fast you want to go. They're the it's 30, I think another slide tells us this, but there are 30 credits, and some of those are required courses. What the DMin program does at Iliff is it sets you up to go through a very kind of pre-planned ladder, and the ladder helps you set up how you're going to do your DMin project and write your thesis. So you're given all these tools as you go, and as you synthesize those tools, you actually have done an awful lot of work before you get to the place where you're writing. So, some people take more than 3 years because there's writing time that has to happen. And one of our students always says, life can get in the way sometimes because people oftentimes will add the DMin to everything else they're already doing, when in fact it's really important to carve out some time and to know that this isn't just an add-on. This is a commitment, and it may require a couple days off in a semester to come to gathering days. It may require a little more study time, and writing time. So coming into this, I want to be really clear that it is so worth it. You'll have a cohort of friends, I hope, who are walking with you through this. But at the same time, it's not just something you can add on to your busy schedule. So um, that's just honest. I don't want to sell you something that says, oh, you can just do this on top of everything else. It's not true. What makes the Iliff DMin degree distinctive? I think what makes it distinctive, I've worked in 3 different programs, and what makes Iliff distinctive here is the concentrations that we're going to show you, and the social justice focus that permeates everything that Iliff does. You saw in the early slides the word respect and dignity coming up over and over and over, and those pieces are deep, deep values at Iliff. The DMin degree, when you work with your academic, I'm the academic advisor, but when you work with your project advisor for whatever you choose to do, which is a different faculty person, those values are going to permeate the conversation that you have, and hopefully in the writing that you're doing. So we'll always be paying attention to the respect, the dignity, the diversity, and the equity concerns that are so important in our world right now. Okay, so here are the concentrations. And this is, like I said, this is the most exciting piece for me. These are new for the DMin. So you're coming in just as we're settling in to our new concentrations: the social justice and ethics, religion, trauma and healing, embodied spirituality, and prophetic leadership. Prior to about 2 years ago, prophetic leadership was the overarching DMin here at Iliff, and we've decided we needed to get a little more specific. So the concentrations, I think, are really pertinent to society right now and to the work of ministry or nonprofit work or political work, wherever you find yourself. All of these apply, but you may have a particular lens that you want to spend some time with. You'll choose a concentration probably after the first semester. You get your feet wet a little bit, get your foundation. We can talk it through. I talk with almost all the newer students about what they want to concentrate on and what they want to work on, and we narrow it down. Sometimes there's some intersections among these two. And then there will be a final project. The project can be one of several things, several approaches, and then you'll write a thesis and have a final conversation for graduation. So that's how it works. Okay. So this is our general outline, and I have a grid of this, so you can have it. It's in the student handbook. Right at the beginning, the DMin is the first degree in the handbook, I'm very proud to say, on page 13. And I will be directing you to this should you come here all the time. And we'll follow the grid as best we can, depending on what you can take and when you can take it. So we start everybody with the DMin foundations, so you know what this whole thing really is about. And it's really a way to get your feet on the ground with the work. We do have a library research skills. It's very short. It's an intensive course so that you get to know this particular library and the kind of research that will be important for your doctoral work. Electives, you can take electives in spring. Some people choose to take them in the summer, some people don't. It depends on vacations, it depends on work. So the electives are where things get a little bit tailored to each person. And as people look at the offerings, they want to align their concentration with the electives. And sometimes in the summer, there are only two and they don't quite fit. So people may choose to wait on some of the electives or bundle them up, take a whole bunch of them, depending on your time. Next. One of the more important courses that gets you ready for your project and for your write-up is the research in living religious communities. And sometimes the communities aren't religious, but you bring some kind of spiritual connection to the community work that you're doing. But this research piece is extremely important for your work, and it will teach you how to research in ways that will do a lot of good when you finally get to the project itself. There are models that you can use. I can say more about that later. And then when you're ready, when you're done with your courses after about 26 credits out of 30, you create a proposal. Your project director works with you, and you have a committee around that. And then there's a big conversation, which usually is 5 or 6 people on Zoom, about what you're proposing. So you articulate it. This is my proposal. This is the impact I think it's going to make. You may have one more elective that semester. And depending on how fast you go, you may have a final elective in summer. And oh, sorry, you have a proposal seminar, so you know how to put it together, and then you have the conversation, usually late spring, early summer. Next. So yeah, project writing. I've started a new course. It's a project writing course. It's really to be supportive of your writing and to help give some feedback that's different than your project director's feedback. It's more about feedback on the writing itself, not on the content. And it's a support space in particular. So there will be there's seminars really while you're actually writing. And then you have a final conversation and yay, you graduate doctor and everybody celebrates. So I've already talked about a project. The writing is 75 to 100 pages. That does not include your bibliography. And you will have a project committee. The project committee, I've mentioned the project director, which is a faculty person, and then a second reader, also a faculty person, and then one external practitioner of your choice who knows your field of work and has good experience in that field. So you are choosing these people, and I can help talk about that later in the game. There are a number of project approaches. You can develop and evaluate a program, a process, a resource in your context. You can do something artsy. You can do some consulting work, perhaps on a strategic visioning project. I do that work on the side myself, do a lot of that. We had one person just graduate who was working with the public campaign world and in political organization. And then most people choose the general practical theology project, and that's based on a problem or a question in a church or a nonprofit or some other organization that they want to grapple with. And they want to, usually there's some interviews involved in those. So there are different approaches you can choose of all the different concentrations, and we could talk about that. I think, is there one more for me? Nope, that's it from me.
Thank you, Dr. Lisa. Just wanted to share a little bit about the faculty, the modalities, and then how do you finance this theological education, this next step. We have a premier and stellar august body of faculty members who are leaders in their disciplines. They vary in their topics and their particularities and intersections of their projects and of their interests. And we're excited that we have 2 new faculty members in the area of pastoral care and spiritual care. As Dr. Lisa spoke about, she made mention of something called Gathering Days, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but all of our classes are in one of these modalities. So you have the synchronous, which meets at the same time every week, same day and time. So every Wednesday from 9 to 12, these are examples, not really related to our schedule now, but this is just an example. 9 to 12 on Wednesday, so you're online together at that time. We have face-to-face where it's in a specific location, like Wednesdays from 9 to 12, but we're on campus in the building together. We have high flex, which is participating face-to-face or online. So we can have Dr. Lisa's teaching a class. Some of us may decide to do it online, and some of us will decide to come into the building, for example. Asynchronous, where you're doing it, there is no coordinated time that you meet face to face, or whether it's in person or online, but you follow. A lot of times people think it's you do it at your own pace. No, it's not that. You follow the syllabus and engage as the syllabus dictates. But there's no designated time and place. And then hybrid, which is a combination of face-to-face and online. And so in our gathering days, you may have the online opportunity that might be synchronous, that might be high flex, but then there's a point where you have to come to campus. And one of the things that makes us distinctive is that on the 5th week of each semester, and we've just changed to semesters from quarters, that we come to campus, our whole community gathers. And it's when you take a hybrid course, you have to come to campus for that. A lot of DMin programs, as you are doing your due diligence and looking at programs, their residency requirements is that like each class is a week. So sometimes when I did mine at another school, I had to do 2 weeks in June, 2 weeks in January. So a total of 4 weeks for the year. Most people don't have that kind of time to get away. So what makes ours distinctive is that first DMin formational foundations class, for example, this year has been on a Monday afternoon starting at 1:30 to 4:30 and continues the next day, Tuesday, from 9 to 12. And if you don't have any more hybrid classes, that's it. You're just in for less than 24 hours if you're traveling from somewhere else. We encourage you to stay the week with us or a few days. We have lunch together as part of community. Breakfast is provided. And then in the evenings, there's a variety of opportunities to learn, fellowship, do fun things and the like, such as lectures, such as celebrations, such as just game night to let your hair down. And it's also, if you decide to stay a little extra time, is a good time to just spend in the library and use this time as spiritual practice and spiritual renewal and just a darn break. So we are in love with gathering days, and that's really different because I think the shortest time I've seen for other schools for their DMin program is like they'll do 1 week, but like if you're taking two classes, like one class is from 7 to 3, and the next one is like from 4 to 8, 9 o'clock at night for a week. It makes it better, so people only have to take off at once 1 week in the fall and 1 week in the spring, but still, it's quite a lot more time than what we require you to do. I think, Dr. Lisa, if I'm correct, there's two classes you absolutely have to come for class. Those are required. The rest is based on what classes you choose and if they are in a hybrid format.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Quickly, just financing this degree. It's $850 per credit. So that depends on how many classes you take, what your bill will be. But we have some institutional scholarships. Unfortunately, it's still not a lot. Scholarships are not where I want them yet, but there are some. We also say if you are part of a denomination to check to see when they give scholarships, and some of the mainline denominations, those scholarships applications and stuff is due somewhere between February and April. Look to see if there are outside scholarships, just like when you first started college and you were looking for every scholarship that you can layer, whether it's $5 or 5,000 or 25,000, all of it added up. If at your current employment, does yours check to see if they have tuition scholarships, tuition remuneration, tuition remission, those kinds of things, so that it can you can begin to leverage funding. Do some fundraising, where you ask your contacts if, hey, you can help me or journey with me in this process by buying my books or by food or Grubhub, or by giving a little money towards that can go towards tuition. And then there are federal student loans, and there's a lot going on with the Department of Education in terms of how much is available to give per degree as they classify what degrees are professional degrees. And my suggestion is no one wants any more debt, I'm sure, is if you do have to take out loans, this program is easily close to 30,000. Just take out what you need and just pay for that instead of taking out fully what might be available to you. But it's up to you to make that determination. You know what you need because cost of attendance is very different than the cost of tuition. And then last but not least, Iliff recognizes that people may not want to do any of those other things, or if those things are not available to them, that there is a payment plan that can be set up with our business office. You've heard our spiel so far. We've told you all the data kind of things, all the isness kind of things of Iliff. But who better to hear from than someone who has done this thing that you're about to embark upon? And our very recent graduate, who she graduated in May of this year from the DMin program. We'll just share a little bit about her journey. Vanetta?
Hi, thank you. I just got back online. I can't tell. Can you see me? Is my camera up right?
We see you and hear you well. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for this opportunity. I want to start out and talk a little bit about why I chose Iliff. I got my Master's of Divinity at Candler in 2003. And when I started thinking about a DMin program, I knew that my perspective and what I thought was important and what I wanted to study was not traditional. It wasn't straight down the line, a DMin in New Testament or DMin in preaching. I had a different interest. And the thing that intrigued me about Iliff is that they seem to be welcoming to that. So I knew that I could come in with a different perspective, a different point of view, and not be pushed into a cubbyhole. So that was one of the things that I really appreciated. My project was on resource allocation patterns. And when people hear that, they think about spreadsheets and measuring. But what we looked at was different congregations are unique. And there's specific characteristics that you want to look at to help them decide how to respond to church decline. And in looking at those characteristics, you'll learn if strategies for how they respond, and you'll learn if they can respond. And so there was a totally different way of looking at it. I was blessed to have the opportunity to go in a different direction. And I was one of the people who took one of the longer times, but it was worthwhile. It was beneficial. I felt well supported by the community and by the structure. Dean Bogues, do I keep going or what?
Vanetta, can you stay around for just a few more minutes
Sure.
in case they have some questions once we finish up?
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We had a current student who was going to join us. Oh, man. I'm sorry, it just went away. And had a family emergency, but was so in the midst of it, was so disappointed he wasn't going to be here, but so excited that you're here that he shared a quick note, and I'd like to read this. This is Topher Anderson. I met him at the chaplaincy conference last week. He says, my name is Topher Anderson, and I'm a member of the 23-24 Doctorate in Ministry and Prophetic Leadership Program. I recently completed my last class and had my proposal accepted, so I'm beginning the project writing phase. I expect to be finished in 2027. My project focuses on a new assessment for hospital patients using queer embodiment theory. I am not only a DMin student, but a full-time chaplain at Ascension St. Joseph's Hospital in North Milwaukee, Wisconsin. When I began my journey, I had only a few ideas behind what I wanted to study, and even which classes I should take. With the help of Lisa, my advisor, Dr. Lisa, and many of the faculty, they began to help me discover where my place in academic thought intersected with my passion for hospital chaplaincy. That is one of the best parts of Iliff. This is a community that sees potential and welcomes growth. Professors encourage free thought and challenge us to better understand the world around us and how our call to ministry can be a part of this holistic change. I also value that Iliff has many opportunities for financial support and appreciate that many of us in the DMin are full-time professionals, so having time set aside like gathering days means the work of study is not too much of a burden. Iliff uses Canvas quite effectively, which allows for weekly reflection, discussion, and teaching that can be completed from anywhere with an internet connection. My final class of my last course was with Dr. Delatorre, was taken poolside in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as I celebrated my birthday. I welcome any questions you might have, and I have asked Dr. Diane to make my student email available should you have questions about my experience or life as a DMin student at Iliff. Know my prayers are with you as you consider the next steps in your journey. Blessings, Reverend Topher Anderson. Brother Daniel, if you could put his Iliff email in the chat.
Sure. I
Well,
can do that now.
actually, it's your turn. So maybe in a few minutes, or maybe Alexandra, if you
I
could
can
put.
do it. I can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got it.
All right. Very good.
And I'll send that now after my reflection about how awesome our faculty are since he mentioned Miguel de la Torre. All right. All right, steps to apply. And I know some of you on this Zoom have already started that process, but do a quick overview of that. The ideal applicant to any DMin program that's ATS accredited is going to already have a Master of Divinity degree from an Association of Theological Schools accredited seminary, or a religious ministry theological related master's degree. So if you don't have the MDiv, but you have another master's religious degree that is accredited under the ATS criteria, so like a professional MA, something like an MA in ministry, we've seen, right, Lisa, different times, Master of Arts, pastoral, spiritual care, that kind of thing. If you have an ATS accredited degree like that, and it is related to your current ministry setting, we can absolutely consider you as an applicant to our DMin program. But you should know that the ATS defines MDiv equivalency in some pretty particular ways. The most important thing is if you don't have an MDiv from an ATS accredited seminary, your degree does need to represent broad-based work, and I underlined it here in the slide, in theology, biblical/scriptural sacred text studies, and the arts of ministry. we can, if you have a theological master's degree that is not ATS accredited, our regulations say we can look at that on a case by case basis. But ideally, the MDiv is the degree that probably most of our applicants have. And we have a minimum GPA of 3.0 or higher. And then the final piece is significant ministry experience, which is usually defined as 3 years or more. And ATS likes it if that's post earning your theological master's is best. But we have admitted students before, according to our own rubrics, who have been doing ministry for a long time, right? Some people have been preaching and doing other things like since they were 10 years old, and then they had their theological master's degree and kept doing more stuff. And so all of this is kind of a kaleidoscope by which we judge DMin applications. Yeah. And so along with that, so if you don't have an accredited MDiv degree, we do have 6 areas that we use in our rubric to determine if we still might be able to admit you. And so I will just go through this very quickly. Number 1, we want to see that the applicant has the ability to thoughtfully interpret scripture and the theological tradition of your ministry context. Number 2, the capacity to understand and adapt your ministry to different cultural contexts. 3, a basic self-understanding of your own ministerial identity and your vocational calling. That's pretty important. 4, a readiness to engage in ongoing personal and spiritual formation for one's ministry. Then an accredited master's degree, we already talked about this, or its educational equivalent in the area related to your ministry setting. And then that significant ministerial experience is the 6th rubric. And the point of this, really all of it, we want to make sure every applicant is able to engage as a ministry peer with other folks in the DMin program, right? It's just very important. It's not a huge program, but it's important that folks be peers together. Okay, and then the application. All right, so application's completely online. You do it at your own pace, and then I will talk a little bit about each piece here. So the personal essay is important, minimum of 5 pages. You definitely can go longer. Most DMin applicants do go longer. That's fine. Basically, the essay is asking about your ministry experience, what kind of work you've already been engaged in, and where you see your ministry going in the future. We want to know about your academic preparation as well, how your theological master's degree prepared you for ministry. Was there anything that was left out? And where can a DMin like at Iliff help fill some of those gaps? For our academic research piece, we ask DMin applicants to reflect on a theological book, a scholarly article, or the current research of an Iliff faculty member that may have caught your attention. And I always suggest for anybody thinking about a DMin, whatever school you're looking at, definitely look at the faculty page because you're going to be working closely with them on a doctorate. It's particularly important there. And again, we have fantastic faculty. And then we ask finally in the essay about your final project plan. What kind of project do you anticipate undertaking? You do not have to do the whole project. That's the end of the program. But we do want to know as a DMin committee that the kind of thing you're thinking about is something that our faculty and our school can help provide you some guidance on. Transcripts from all schools. So that's everything from bachelor's up to some of our applicants that have other doctorates. We need to see all of that. So an official transcript can be ordered through an email service like Parchment and sent directly to us. We have to calculate an overall GPA for everybody. So that's why we need all transcripts. We do ask for a resume CV. So you can add any articles you've published, volunteer experience, ministry experience, languages that you might know, all good there. And then letters of recommendation. The DMin only requires 2, and the preference is that one of those be academic and one of those be ministry professional. We realize some folks have been out of school for a good while, may not have that academic reference. So 2 ministry professional folks who know you well is also okay. The main thing here is you want to choose 2 folks who you are relatively confident will write at some good length, half a page, page and a half, about your ability to do a doctoral program. So that means maybe a pastor that you've only known 5 years, but who knows you really well and is excited about your call. that's a great person to write an LOR. That's better than like the Archbishop of Canterbury writing 2 sentences about you, right? So folks that are you're pretty confident will be able to write at some length. And then finally, we have an application fee. It hasn't changed in years of $60 to submit. And the last thing I'll say before I hand it off to my colleague um, is what was I going to say? Well, let us know if you're stuck in the application, you have a question, contact me in admissions or in my direct email. Happy to help kind of guide you through the different processes there to get you across the finish line. So yeah, thank you.
All right, as we round up, we have some special offers, but first, we are your enrollment team. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any further questions, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. We are my lovely boss, the Reverend Dr. Diane Boakes, brother Daniel Cloutwitter, and me, Alexander Ravenscroft. So our special offers are if you apply by July 18th, your fee is waived. And if you apply by July 8th, you're eligible for a 25% scholarship. I'd like to open the floor to questions and discussions.
So we'd like to ask if you all wouldn't mind coming onto camera for a little bit so that we can get to know you a little better and so that we may hear your questions. Or let us know where you are or what you're thinking about.
I love the pictures people have.
I know.
It's very creative.
Hi, Stephanie.
Stephanie's in the car.
I pulled over.
Okay, good. I was like, look, don't look at us.
Yeah,
I pulled over.
that's good.
Great.
That's a D-Min student right there. You pull over, master students just keep on driving.
Stephanie, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Chicago area.
Too.
Yeah. And I live in Colorado now.
Me too.
Yeah. Are you from Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Cool. Hey.
Hey. Missing Chicago today, though, with the opening of the Presidential Library.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. So lovely. Yeah. I saw some clips and I was like, yeah, it's beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you all. I actually have kind of a technical question, if I could ask a bit of a technical
Any question.
Thank you. So in the application portal for transcripts, it has the place to submit the unofficial transcript, and then to order, obviously, for the official. But it only allows me to upload one transcript, only one file, instead of multiple. And so I'm just wondering, is there a workaround that you might suggest for that? I could always, I guess, make a combined PDF, but I just was just wondering about that one.
Yeah. Thank you for that question, Stephanie. Yeah, I've researched what that's about because some folks are able to add on there. I forget what the button is to add one, but what I always tell folks is upload what you can, and if it's just one, that's fine. You can send any official or unofficial transcripts directly to us at admissions@iliff.edu. And we monitor that every day, and I can manually upload those into the application for you. Cool.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No worries.
And going over 5 pages is okay?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
100.
Yeah, not 100. Yeah, you don't go footnote crazy necessarily, but yeah, we've had people go 8, 10, 12. I mean, that's probably kind of the maximum that you would need. But I think for the D-Min stuff, most folks are going over 5 at least a little bit. 6.5, 7 might be kind of what we usually see maybe, but
Yeah, you have a
Great.
story to tell, and we want to make sure that we receive your story.
yeah.
So whatever it takes.
I appreciate that because I was really struggling to stay in that 1100 to 1300 word frame. And so I appreciate that. Thank you. I think that's all the questions I have. I just really appreciate you having this space. Very clarifying for me. So thank you. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
David, are you there? Perhaps not.
Well, I'll just say, as one who did a DMin as well, I would say some of the things that are important. I thoroughly agree with Dr. Lisa about making time. Students who are very successful begin to schedule in time to do your work. It's very easy to be like, oh, okay, I know I'm in the semester. Okay, I'll do what I need to do online, but then it's like almost time to come to campus. You're like, oh my God, I gotta read. You will drive yourself nuts and bonkers. So if you throughout the time every Friday from 4 in the morning to 8, 8 in the morning, or whatever is where your biorhythms live, to do that. So then when you get ready and closer to writing, you already have space that's marked out. You have already told your context that this is sacred time. You have already told family and friends that I need this space to be able to do the work that I need to do and to move comfortably. And so you may not have to add so much when it's time to write. Use the library, use the library, use the library, use the tools that they'll teach you, like Zotero and all of these things that keep information for you. As much as you can engage what you're thinking about in each and every class that can provide a frame so that you're building bibliography as you go along. And I will, even if you think you are the best writer, award-winning writer, whatever, I'd say take a class, a writing class, even if it's just a refresher or whatever, because it's the writing phase that hems us up, because it's you against you. And a lot of people get stuck with everything in their head and get a little scared, honestly, and can't get it to the paper. And so, if you hone some of those skills early, right? And you're honing them every time you write for one of your classes, by the time you get to writing your thesis, you won't be overwhelmed and realize, yikes, I don't know how to write like that. Oh, I don't know how to do, literature reviews. And some of this ends up being like writing 3 or 4 papers, right? But it's very easy to get stuck places. And that's why for some people, whether DMin or PhD, end up spending a lot of time. One, because life is life. And then two, not creating the space to take care of the things you need to take care of to be better at this enterprise. And then three, you don't do it alone. You have wonderful people, the professors, your committee, all of us, even though we're in the admissions stage of things, if there's any way we can support you, cheerlead you, help you on, and a phenomenal program coordinator and advisor to journey with you. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I know it all, or I got it all. I got this on lockdown. We're here to journey with you, to have those kinds of conversations so that you can flesh some of the things out. So those are some of the things I've seen over time with people. And I know for a fact of what I experienced myself. So those are some of the tidbits. And then having in previous schools, have people come back to share what was really great, what was helpful, where were some places they got stuck, what tools helped them so that we could share with people coming next. And also what I wish someone would have told me going in.
That's good. And we have a writing center director, Dr. Shoma Clarence, that helps all our students write papers and put research together if you need that help too, and does online appointments. Yeah.
When you get to the writing phase too, there's a course. And like I said earlier, it's a support space, but it also helps some of the barriers that Dean Bogues was talking about. If you get caught and stuck and all those things. There is a cohort there that helps you go to the other side of your brain that's not so stuck, maybe dreams a little more and gets the momentum going again. So that's there, that's built in for support.
And last but not least, for me, would be it's doable. It is great work. It is great community. Um, it's the stuff that makes you come alive. I think it's Katie Cannon that says that you got to do the work your soul must have. And so as you're thinking about project, what is that thing you won't shut up about, right? What is the thing that you are like sparking everywhere and you're like, oh, this is the kind of stuff I would talk about, do about all of that for free. What are those kinds of things? And then how do you narrow it to create something that you can create something, speak about whatever, and give back to community?